Hey guys, welcome to When Spirit Talks. I'm your host, Stephanie Ruth. Now let's dive into spirituality because when spirit talks, it's time to listen. In today's episode, we talk about remaining centered when life isn't fair and some ways to stay protected when exposed to negative people, places, and spaces. Here we go. So we can't live in a bubble, as much as I know some of us want to sometimes. We are forced to connect with people we like and those we don't like so much. It's a part of life. I mentioned this to my daughter the other day. Actually, I told her a few things. One was in response to her new overused phrase, not fair, to which I finally responded, life isn't always fair. I remember hearing that phrase when I grew up, and I myself thought, that's so not fair. As unfair as that sounded, it is so true. We all have our soul journey represented in different human experiences, and not all of those are always fair. The second thing I mentioned was that not everyone will like you, but you also won't like everyone either. I think it's important to broach this subject at a time when you feel it's right. I told her that when I was younger, I always thought grown-ups were kind and that they all got along. That whole sunshine and rainbows type of thing. Fast forward to my 20s and 30s, and I really noticed how sometimes people remain the same people they were when they were younger. As much as you want people to like you, appreciate you, or treat you the same way you treat them, this won't always happen. I know I learned this lesson hard a few times in my life. The energy you give doesn't always come back to you in the ways that you would expect or want. Life isn't always fair. Negative people are everywhere, and they can turn a happy place into a negative one quickly. Now, everyone has their own perspective. Your opinion about a person or a situation doesn't necessarily make it true. Your experiences are deeply personal to you. This means that someone else could experience the same people and situations that you do, but have a completely different perspective or opinion. This does not detract from your perspective or opinion. Whatever you feel is real to you, and it's important to validate that. It is also important to work through it so you can handle whatever comes your way. It's important to be able to take a difficult situation, to deal with negative energy, and transmute it in such a way that it minimizes the effect on you and your well-being. If you're a highly sensitive person like me, you might have a really difficult time with this because you can read energy and literally read between the lines. You can feel the intention behind actions or words. You hear what someone's saying and see what they're doing, but you can feel the energy that is contradicting all of that. As difficult as that is, it really is a superpower. You can use that to your advantage, and I'm even going to try to do a separate podcast on that. But in terms of toxic people and negativity, it is really helpful if you can put some space between yourself and negativity. This can mean physically or energetically. The best thing you can do is literally stay away from negative people, places, and spaces. But again, life isn't always fair. Sometimes we need to share places and spaces with people we don't resonate with energetically. This could be at your job, in your home, or at school. So what can you do when you're bombarded with negative energy? I go into this a lot more in my book, Your Sacred Journey, the Ultimate Guidebook to Align Your Mind, Body, and Spirit, but we'll talk about 3 simple ways to do this. Now, let's get into the energetics of it. We are all energetic beings. We are energy, and because of that, sometimes you can give away and absorb the energy of others. When you notice yourself feeling depleted, exhausted, irritated, or anxious after being around certain people or places, that is your cue. Your intuition is calling to you. Those energies do not mesh with yours, and because of that, They might be draining your energy, or you might be absorbing some of theirs. And when this happens, there are a few things you can do. If you're near them physically, you can cross your arms or your legs. It is a quick and easy way to physically block yourself from being completely open to the energy they're emitting or giving out. You can even turn your body a little bit so that you're not facing them straight on. The other thing you can do is carry a black tourmaline, smoky quartz, or obsidian crystal with you. These crystals can block and transmute negative energy around you. Black tourmaline is one of my favorites. It's my favorite for repelling negative energy as well as EMF. So if you work in an office, you can put a small crystal on your desk. I always wear black tourmaline if I'm going into work or if I'm going into a place that is crowded with people. If you do use crystals, you are probably going to need to cleanse that crystal after you use it with selenite, Reiki, salt, or another method. In my book, I also include an aura sweeping and aura shielding exercise, but you can use visualization to shield your aura. You can do this by setting an intention and visualizing yourself in a bubble of protective light before you leave the house. If you listen to my podcast on spirit teams, you know you can also call on Archangel Michael to help you stay protected from low vibrations and negativity. If there are some etheric cords that you need to cut, you can also call on him to help you do that. Now, outside of that spiritual and energetic side of it, you also need to find ways to remain centered mentally and emotionally when around negativity. It is important to safely release the energy you cannot verbally express in some way, so it does not remain encoded in your energetic system. This means that you might focus on your breath, distract yourself, take a walk, journal, read, or just talk to someone that you trust. This is really, really important. I've done so many Reiki sessions and have noticed how much energetic baggage gets blocked up or shoved away, remaining in the body. There are times when situations and memories become trapped in the body, even if you're not aware of it. This might result in years of energetic imprints piling on top of each other in different locations of the body. Over time, that buildup can lead to physical manifestations. This can cause emotional outbursts, confusion, fogginess, or even physical aches and pains. This is the reason why I wrote my book, to help people understand the importance of good energy habits and ways to keep your energetic system healthy at home. So when you're faced with situations where you're overcome with negativity, it's important to find a way to deal with it. Everyone has their own way to do this. You just have to play around and see what works for you. For me, I typically disconnect energetically, mentally, and emotionally by either listening to music, watching my favorite TV show, or taking a walk. I also do frequent aura clearings with Karuna Reiki and Self Reiki each day to balance and align my mind, body, and spirit. So when you find yourself surrounded by energy that's negative, just know that there are so many steps you can take to minimize the impact of that energy on your own. You don't need to absorb it. You don't need to hold it in. You don't need to retrieve all of the negative energy that's around you, whether it's intentional or not. You have the choice to protect yourself and your energy and not let the energy of others get you down, drag you down, or make you sad or upset. So really focus on protecting yourself and your energy. Start shielding your aura each day. It's important to start distinguishing between your energy and the energy of another person. Because if you're not aware of that, you might walk through life feeling really confused. You might think that there's something wrong with you because you might be feeling one way And then after talking with someone else, you feel completely different or your mood shifts. So start to pay attention to how you feel around specific people and specific places. And then take that information and start to figure out what might be causing that energetically. And then if you ever need to book an aura clearing or a Reiki session, message me on Instagram or visit my website, liveandbreathereiki.com. Until next time, thanks for listening.